Hello from the European Parliament in Strasbourg and welcome to the Record Europe. So what kind of European Commission can we expect in the future after today's important vote? Indeed, what kind of European Union? Well, to talk about all of that, I'm joined by 5 members of the European Parliament. We have John Bufton, who is a newly elected member for UKIP, the UK Independence Party, from Wales. We also have Timothy Kirkhope, who is the Deputy Leader for the new group, the European Conservatives and Reformists, and of course leads the British Conservatives in the Parliament as well. Corinne Wortmann-Kool is an MEP from the Netherlands, centre-right, and is Vice President of the European People's Party. Alex Lambsdorff is Deputy Leader of the European Liberals and Democrats and a German Liberal MEP. And Stephen Hughes is a British Labour member who is also Vice President of the European Socialists. Now that for members of your party, John, is not going to come as great news. Mind you, nothing much does here. Nigel Farage, had what some would say a pretty extraordinary outburst about this. Do you agree with him?
Absolutely, and I think it's very clear now that we're on the road to a full European superstate. I think now Barroso has got the power, he's got the post in place, and it'll be full steam ahead. If you listened yesterday to the individuals talking from various groups, it was for more governance, and they were pleading with him for more governance, and I think that's going to be very evident in the next few months.
But why leave the labels and the sort of emotive terms aside for a minute? And isn't this about finding solutions to concrete problems that affect people's everyday lives, like losing their jobs, things like that?
The problem we have is that the people that I represent in Wales and the United Kingdom have never had a say on the European Union as such. When they had the referendum in the 70s, it was about a trading arrangement. So we're into full political union now, and it's going at such a pace that people need a say.
But they do have a say because they elected you.
No, they don't.
Fair
because
enough.
if you look what happened with the Lisbon Treaty, you look what happened with the Constitution before that. Nothing against Timothy in particular, but his party has let us down again. Yesterday they voted, they abstained. We've got to stand up as Britain for our rights. Now the problem we've got is, as far as the UK is concerned, the more integration that goes along, unless we get a say in it, we're going to be swamped. And I feel that the time will come the British people will have an election, and they will have a referendum rather on this point. And I think the general election in the UK now is the right time to put it forward, because the main parties but the Tories, the Labour, Lib Dems, they let the people down at the ballot box in the UK in a few months' time.
Let's not get bogged down by domestic politics, but on that issue. Now, you may not agree with UKIP's analysis of it, Stephen, but having said that, it is time surely that MEPs like yourselves were honest about the fact that, the EU is finding there is a consensus, an increasing number of people who say we have got to have more integration if we're going to sort these problems out.
I think we do need more integration, and we certainly do need strong leadership.
Well,
I must come in there. The trouble back at home, people think that the Conservatives are sceptical on the European issue. Well, they're not. You've moved your group now, so they're across the other side of the chamber, but you may as well stay where you were, because you're almost identical. There's no difference. I think you've got to stand up for British...
I'm sorry, I mean, a reform agenda, which we are pushing very strongly, is already, I think, getting a lot of support and a lot of converts, and actually we are influencing events in the Parliament. I don't see anything wrong with that. But we're not going down your nihilist.
I'm sorry, but you voted
useless
Barroso.
approach of UKIP, which is absolutely a zero of everything.
You admit that you voted Mr. Barroso in. You admitted that.
UKIP
you could have had
useless.
Barroso wouldn't be in charge. It wouldn't be you. You could have had somebody else.
Corinne.
That we need this internal market, and there it's very important that it's not the Brussels bureaucracy who rules Europe. No, we are elected by our people in our member states, and we stand up to get the right regulation on the European level, because otherwise you can't fight protectionism.
You talked about being elected. You talked about elected before the Commission being elected. They've not been elected. They've come in en bloc. The people haven't elected them. My people in Wales and England haven't elected them.
You're not. You're absolutely not.
Just John, I mean, not a single government minister in many countries is elected into his office of being a government minister. Many of these people are appointed by their heads of government, and the commissioners here have also been appointed by heads of government. The German commissioner, just as the British commissioner, has been appointed by a democratically elected prime minister, in our case a chancellor. There is democratic legitimacy. Then they come here to the Parliament.
And
here they have to prove themselves.
The way it's been elected, because the way they've been elected is on a block.
If
you want to get rid of one,
let me just ask Stephen.
We did get rid of one.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was before.
I would seriously disagree on one issue that Timothy Kirkhope just raised. He suggests an annual assessment of the commissioners. I totally disagree. I want a permanent assessment of commissioners. They will be assessed based on their performance, on how they, drive their agenda.
But you can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of them. They're there. They're in for 5 years.
We can get rid of them. In 1999, this Parliament chased the entire Commission out of Brussels because one commissioner refused to resign. And I'm telling you, we are prepared to do the same.
We'll have to leave it there. Thanks very much.